Hi guys, it's Alicia and today I'm going to be doing a video on signs that you're in a bad relationship, because I have been in a bad relationship before, but I'm not going to name any names because it's not really fair on the person and I have respect for them, so I'm not going to say who they are because that's not a very nice thing to do, and obviously it could cause lots of upset and stuff. But so the first sign is that at the start of a relationship, they buy you a load of things, nice things, which is nice in all relationships, obviously. But I'm talking about they buy you something really expensive when you've only been out for a week or something. Is number one red flag. And yeah, I don't really know how to tell this story without making it obvious about who it is and stuff. But so I'll try my best. And I'm just doing this video to, make sure people understand that just because someone's given you all this stuff and being really nice to you doesn't mean they will be in the future. So anyway, so they'll buy you something really expensive at the start, and they'll just buy you loads of stuff. And then you'll just be like, oh, I like them so much. Not just because they buy you presents, but yeah, and then you might be on the phone every day having great conversations and stuff. And then as the months go by, well, their shoe colours come out. In my case, mine came out pretty fast, because I remember one time we were going out and he got annoyed at me for the most stupid reason ever and made this massive scene off the street. It was so embarrassing. And by the way, I'm laughing for nervousness, not because I find it funny. So yeah, so we were standing at the bus stop and got the wrong bus. Well, we were standing at the wrong bus stop, and so the right bus drove past, and he started storming me away, and I didn't really know where the hell he was taking me. He was just storming me away like I was a little child. So I got annoyed, and so he threw my hand down and he just started marching away and stuff. But eventually he calmed down, but that was the first red sign. And another red sign was that this was before that. It was when something was wrong with me, he would overthink everything. How could you forgive me for this, for a tiny thing that wasn't even that bad? He would be like, how could you forgive me for this? It was so terrible. They're just really dramatic, basically. I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's not fine. Just calm down. I've got my hot chocolate here to accompany this story. Another thing that happened to me was when I was walking on the street and saw a guy that I used to know, and he literally started he started marching me away from the person, like I was a child again. Took me up the side of the road and everything, and then he said that he was calling his friend or whatever to he said that his friend lived around, and he was gonna come over or something, meet up with us. But this is where I lived, which is a really tiny village, so there's not really any other kids in the village other than me and the person I used to know. And they started, so it was very strange that he just started marching me up there like I was some little child, trying to get me away from this guy. It's not even if we did walk past a guy, it's not I would say hello or anything, you know what I mean? Why would you make such a big deal about it? You should be able to trust the person that you're with. Another sign is they become less close to you, more distant. Emotionally, I mean. After a while, they just don't seem to care. I mean, that might not be the same case for everyone with bad relationships, but mine just, they started to not care as much about how I felt or whatever. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And another thing is, another sign of a bad relationship is they call you names for like no reason whatsoever. As I said, this person again, they were very dramatic at times. So they were like, they acted like a child, but treated me like a child, even though they acted like one. So what I mean is basically, if we went out and we did something and he wouldn't want to do it, he would just call me names and stuff like, why are you being such a selfish bitch and stuff like that. And yeah, if I didn't want to go somewhere he wanted to go, he would like, well, this was one or a couple of times, I can't really remember. But yeah, he would like pull me in that direction, like, no, we're going this way, kind of thing. It's like, yeah, just silly things like that. I remember it got to a point where, like, I would go to the toilet or something, and he would full on be like on like looking through my phone and shit. Like looking through my messages, but he wouldn't want me to look at his messages, but he thought it was perfectly fine for him to go on my phone without my permission and just start going through my messages like that. And he'd be like, oh, who's this? It's just like, what? Get off my phone, like, you don't let me look at your phone. So yeah, that's another like bad sign. Like, I remember one time he had just full on ran at me um over text for something I don't even know. Apparently I kept texting him when I didn't. Like he like him he just randomly, I can't even remember what happened, but it was so stupid. And he's like calling me all these horrible names and I was like trying to calm down, like I just want you to be happy, like calm down, like whatever. And then he'll be like, fuck off or something like that. Just like, don't talk to me ever again. And then he'd be like, so I wouldn't reply, and then he'd just be like, why aren't you talking to me? And yeah, that's not very good either. And another thing is, um, God, my mind has just gone blank. Yeah, I just can't believe that someone would actually, like, the way this guy called me a bitch, like, to my face, is like, you should never let anyone call you, like, it's alright if it's like jokey, I guess, but this guy was dead serious. Like, he would full on like march off sometimes when we were out, like it was just so embarrassing, and I would have to try and calm him down and shit, but most of the time I was just like fine then, and he'd come back most of the time. But I just think he did it for attention, and I can't even remember what I was gonna say. And it was really annoying. I probably should have written notes before I made this video. When he was having an argument with me, it's like, wow, manipulative. Like, just like saying, oh, leave me alone, and like what, like, like swear, calling me horrible names is like full on bullying. That's like verbal abuse. Like, you don't understand. Like, it was pretty scary. Like when people act like, when people just freak out and they just start swearing and like storming off. It's like, what do you do? um, but yeah. For example, like one time when he misread a message or whatever, I think I said no to something, like something else that he said previously, and I didn't see the do you want a phone bit, like do you want a phone call bit, and then he was like, well, fuck you then, I'm not coming over. It's just like, you wouldn't know who normal human being, well, I'm not saying he's not normal, but I mean no decent person would say that. Like a decent human being would not be like, well, fuck you then, I'm not coming to your house tomorrow because you don't want to video chat with me. Like, fuck you. Like, no, there's no way you talk to anybody. Like, you wouldn't say that to your mum. Why would you say it to someone you're supposed to love? Do you know what I mean? Or you wouldn't even say it to your friend, let alone like the person you're dating. So basically, you should just not stay with people like that. And this guy obviously had good sides to him, you know, everyone does. But like, if like it's only gonna get worse. That's why I left, because I didn't want to, couldn't really stand his dramatic side, and people, you can't change people, they have to change themselves. So that's basically my advice for this video. I feel like I'm sharing my life on the internet for some reason, which probably isn't that good, but I mean, I don't really care what people think about me for like telling stories and stuff, because I think it's important for people to learn from other people as well as them from their own mistakes. Because if you're told this kind of thing, then you'll know, like, you'll be more aware about like what could happen if you don't leave. You know, you've been like told like, oh, if this person's like this to you, it'll only get worse. So you'll be more of aware of what to do, because at the end of the day, if you leave them, it's not the end of the world. And even like I did love him, of course I loved him, but you can't pretend to be happy if you're not happy, you know. And this video is getting really deep now. Oh my god. So, I know I haven't like posted for like ages, because I just haven't been thinking about YouTube or anything. Just I am gonna go back to posting like one a week. I don't have any excuse now. And also another thing is, if the person is like verbally abusive, they might like turn into physical abuse, because maybe that can like happen. So if they are like verbally abusing you, I'd like actually tell somebody, because they can actually get done for it. Like I think I told my mum, and like showed some of the messages to my mum about like what, like when he was like saying all these like really horrible stuff. But yeah, like if it gets really bad, you can actually like tell people, like the police and everything, and they can like deal with it or whatever. Luckily, my family were like, oh yeah, if he tries to like, if he starts messaging you again, like if he says anything threatening, to like tell them, because obviously that's like harassment. But he hasn't like said any mean things to me. Like I've been nice to him, but he doesn't want to talk anymore. So I understand that, to be honest. So, and also another thing is that there's a thing called verbal abuse, but there's also like a thing called, I think it's like emotional abuse or something, where you basically like, you don't swear at the person, but you'll be like, oh fine, they'll never talk to me again, for example, like that. It's like making the person feel like they've done something wrong when they haven't, and it like really messes with your head and stuff. My hot chocolate's probably gone cold by now, I haven't finished. Warm hot chocolate is never the same. The person you're with is like swearing at you and stuff. They should not be doing that, because you wouldn't do it to your friend. You wouldn't like if your friend was swearing at you all the time. You wouldn't be friends with them anymore, would you? So like you wouldn't go out with someone anymore. Just tell someone, or like obviously first break up with the person, but if you're actually like scared to break up with the person, then I would probably do it on text like this, or video call or something, because there is no way I would have broken up with him on like in person, because of his dramatic personality. He might like do something. I mean, I wouldn't feel safe to have broken up with him like in real life. Or maybe if I was like had my mum in the next room or something, but not if we were like all alone somewhere, like in the house or something, so yeah, either break up with them somewhere public if you're gonna break up with them in person. And then if not, you should like do it on phone. And I know people say that it's like cruel to like break up with people on the phone, but like it's not really. Like if they've been horrible to you and you don't want to break up with them in person because you don't know what will happen, and that's like a fine reason. But if this person that you're breaking up with wasn't mean to you and you just don't want to be with them anymore, you should probably tell them in person. Otherwise, it is a bit mean. But if you're doing it for your safety, and that's like completely understandable. So, thank you for watching this video. I'll try and post very soon. I'll probably make like a second one like after this.